35 days after the task force's media strategy began, there is a sudden turn of events. Resendez sends word to the Texas Rangers through his half-sister, Manuela Maturino, that he is ready to surrender.
We were able to keep pressure on Resendez everywhere he went. As a group, we virtually gave him no place to go. And I think that was a turning point in his mind when he felt like he had no place to go and no place to hide. That's when he considered turning himself in.
The railroad killer, a suspect in 8 murders, a man described as a geographically mobile sexual serial killer, surrenders meekly to the Texas Rangers on a bridge in El Paso. Arriving in Houston, stripped of his anonymity, Resendez is now introduced to the Texas judicial system.
We don't have a lot of geographically mobile serial sexual killers that eventually just turn themselves in because they're tired of killing. He felt his world collapsing around his ears. A lot of his decision-making really centered on how he could best survive, and that's, in my view, a large part of why he turned himself in.
He is arraigned in Harris County, Texas, and indicted for the 1998 death of Dr. Claudia Benton. 56 people have been executed in Harris County since 1976. If convicted of first-degree murder, Resendez could be next. But the railroad killer is not through confounding authorities. Catching him is only the opening round in a contest of wits between a serial killer and his captors. The notoriety of the railroad killer is turning the trial into a public relations spectacle. The Harris County District Attorney's Office announces it will seek the death penalty. The evidence against Resendez is indisputable. Outside, the media coverage reaches a frenzy shortly before the trial begins, when the defense announces that Resendez will plead not guilty by reason of insanity.
A lot of people think that when you catch the bad guy, it's over. Everybody can pack their bags and go home. Well, that's far, far from the truth.
The prosecution worries that unless they can refute the expert witnesses presented by the defense, the jury and the public will believe that Resendez is insane. The prosecutors need an expert witness of their own, one who can assist them with their understanding of mental illness and insanity, as well as prepare them on how to cross-examine the defense experts. The Critical Incident Response Group is called once again, this time to help the Harris County prosecutors prepare their case.
CIRG was contacted once again by our Houston office when it came time for the trial. I had been involved with this case from early on. I was familiar with what Mr. Resendez was capable of, and that gave me an advantage.
The trial begins on May 8, 2000. As anticipated, the trial focuses on Resendez's criminal versus psychotic behavior. Prosecutors present the accused as a killer who exhibits criminal presence of mind. Defense experts testify that Resendez has chronic paranoid schizophrenia and exhibits disorganized thinking, not allowing him to distinguish between right and wrong.
Proceeded to rape and sodomize her lifeless body. Now, the defense would like you to believe that...
On May 17, 2000, the jury begins its deliberations. The only thing to do now is wait. 1 day later, on May 18th, Rafael Resendez Ramirez is found guilty of first-degree murder in the death of Dr. Claudia Benton. His motives for serial killing are unknown, but his predatory violence has a lengthy history.
That police officer lied on their oath. I don't think it's right.
Starting in the 70s, he was breaking into places and he was assaulting the occupants. Several of the people that he broke in on survived and were able to testify against him. At some point in Resendez's career, I believe that he made the conscious decision never to allow witnesses to survive again.
As Resendez awaits his execution, the full extent of his destruction may never be known. Although he is positively connected to other killings in California, Kentucky, Florida, and Georgia, the total number of his victims remains to be seen. Angel Maturino Resendez, alias Rafael Resendez Ramirez, is now on death row in Huntsville, Texas, and is scheduled to die by lethal injection. He is officially linked to 13 murders, but the investigation continues.